So this is Mumbai. One of their offices is based in Delhi. And Mumbai, as you may know, has some of the most impoverished and densest urban slums anywhere in the world. So we went to Vestergaard Franson and we said, you know, design for the greater good is not automatically good design. And in order to, we need to be critical about how successful it is, especially when it's addressing really important and serious issues like water health, public health, family health, et cetera. So we, at Project H, was able to fund 100 of the life straws to be distributed to Mumbai as a means to use those 100 life straws to measure the success of this thing in a place where it hadn't been tested before. So this project is very much about measurement. This is just an image really quickly of one of the squatter settlements, and you can kind of see it here, but one thing to note, in a lot of the really dense settlements, the place where you go to get water is also the place where you dispose of waste. So there are a lot of very serious, very dangerous health issues surrounding water in slums that maybe are not as relevant in the rural settlements where they've been tested. So this is the third project. This is the Katamba School for AIDS Orphans in Uganda. And just as a sort of quick background, this was a project which started as an Architecture for Humanity project. The school, this is the school that the current building that they're in right now. This is their new school that they're moving into at the end of the year, which was designed by Matthew Miller, who is speaking immediately after me. So as you can see, it's vastly different and much improved and beautiful compared to their current facility. So Project H, I was there. I was in Uganda while the building was being constructed earlier this year. And being a product designer and seeing this building go up, I was there thinking, okay, how can we support the education of these children at a different scale? They have this beautiful new school facility. How on a product or systems level can we complement that and enhance their ability to learn? You know, these are just some images of their existing facility or their existing building, how they learn math. This is their desks. These are the materials they have at hand. This is from their textbook. So, and then as a side note, we chose math as sort of the jumping off point for designing solutions because math is universal. So this project has been about finding design solutions to facilitate their math education. And this image is from the elementary school where I went to school in California. Very different. It's a very well-funded public school, very well-funded. It's in a fairly wealthy area of California. But I wanted to put this image up just as a reminder that, yes, math is universal. In a lot of ways, kids are kids, and there's something sort of universal about play and childhood, too. So in developing these design solutions for math education, we wanted to keep that in mind, that yes, we're designing for this particular school in Uganda, but there's an ability to bridge markets through design. And so we've had this case study in the back of our heads, too, with the goal that we could design something that would be primarily for Uganda, but could be scaled or applied in different contexts for different demographics, potentially in different forms as well. So we did a lot of research on existing educational theories, and what we're working with now, which is sort of a working concept, and we're in the process of doing the first round of user testing, we started looking at frameworks, grids, things that were more systems that then we could design experiences around. So we wanted it to be more about experience than material or just more stuff. We noticed that the current market for educational toys is very electronic, it's very plastic, it's very junky. So we really wanted this learning experience to be interactive and to be more about an experience than a thing. So these are just some sketches of some of the landscapes that we were looking at and how we could use a grid to then design games and teach math and also integrate elements of play. So this is a quick rendering that we did for a school where we're testing it in New York City. And this is what we're working with right now. And you're kind of getting a sneak preview because this is really not resolved very much. But the point I want to make here is that this is a grid. This is designed for the school in Uganda. We're using tires because they're recycled materials. But the power in this is that it's really a framework. We're developing games that are playful, that are educational. You can also use this space as a playground or as seating if there are events where the friends are coming to the school. So it's a framework, and it's scalable, and it's adaptive. Thinking back to that school in Kentfield, this is something that we could scale down to a product that you could put on a table and use in a school in California or in Mexico or wherever. So the concept for this project, and the thing that you should take away from it, is the ability to bridge markets through design and to design something that's scalable and adaptive. And then lastly, we just started this project, so there's really not a lot to talk about, but I do want to mention this is a chapter project, which means it's run by a group of Project H volunteers based in Los Angeles, and this is a homeless shelter that they have partnered with. They went to the homeless shelter and initially went into it not knowing what they wanted to do, but they knew that it was a place that needed help, and they wanted to serve both the shelter and its residents through design thinking. So in talking to some of the residents, they quickly realized that more than anything, the residents of the homeless shelter want work. They want to be able to work and make money. And beyond wanting to work, they have an immense skill set. This is just a quick sort of whiteboard list of some of the residents and what their skills are, what skills they already have. And you can see housekeeper, painter, construction, crane operator. So we did sort of this inventory of what the existing skill sets were. And where the project is going now, we haven't developed it to a point where I have any beautiful slides to show, but where it's going now is we're using the existing skill set, partnering and actually hiring 3 to 5 of the long-term shelter residents. And we're developing and designing products that they can make and sell to support themselves and the shelter. So this project is very much about empowerment, and empowerment through enterprise, and economic and social empowerment. So just in closing, really quickly, this is an image from Havana, from Cuba. I was there in 2000, and I want to go back to this idea of revolution. I'm not sure if you guys have seen pictures of these, but these are really, they're everywhere. They're all over the city. They're these large-scale murals, and they're all over. They're on sides of buildings. They're on like sidewalks. They're everywhere. Propaganda. But it reads, "En cada barrio revolución," in every neighborhood revolution. And these date back to the 50s and 60s, after the Cuban Revolution, when Castro deployed these essentially urban militia groups called the CDRs, which was the Committees for the Defense of the Revolution. And their role was to go into the communities and monitor the spending habits, the health, the counter-revolutionary activity, all kinds of different elements, things that were going on in the communities. It was essentially they wanted to have an eye on everything going on in the country. So, you know, these murals are sort of a representation of the omnipresence of revolution as an idea, but also the literal omnipresence of the CDR militia. And this type of propaganda, Cuba is sort of known for this as sort of a totalitarian, very dictator-driven, big brother, like government watchdog sentiment. It's very much, you know, we're watching you, right? But it turns out that the Cuban citizens don't actually see it this way. En cada barrio revolución has become something of an unofficial motto for the country, and it's something that they're very proud of. In fact, I remember talking to one man who said something along the lines of, revolution is who we are, it's in our blood, we will always be looking for a better way, and we know that we have the power to make our lives better. So it's that sort of sentiment, not just the desire to make things better, but realizing that you have the power to do it, that I think designers really need to embrace. So my version of this is, instead of en cada barrio revolución, en cada diseñador revolución, in every design, in every designer, revolution. And this is just 4 more images. The other thing I want to note about this is that while most of these were painted in the 50s and 60s, this one on the upper left is very recent. In fact, the one on the bottom was painted a long time ago, but they use these spaces. This is a concert, and they use this as the backdrop for the projection. So it's still very relevant, and not just in Cuba, but I think it's something that we as designers should embrace as well. Thank you.